Stories of struggle, stories of life.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Let's Talk Local. I'm your guy, Deke, back in and out. It's been a wonderful start to the new year. And today, the cool thing is, Cappuccino, is we've got Birth to 5 Illinois Region 44 here, which I'm excited about because I think what they do is simply amazing. And we've got Nicole and Chris. And if y'all just kind of want to tell us a little bit about what Birth to 5 is, so then we can kind of slide from there.
Sure. So first, why we were created. Illinois, we want to make it the best place to raise a child. So to start with, the children 0 to 5, before they even hit kindergarten, we want to make sure that no matter where they live in Illinois, they have what they need to thrive in their community. So this might be early intervention. It might be home visiting. It might be Head Start or a child care program. Whatever these children need, we want to make sure they have. So we are statewide. There are 39 regions. We are number 44, but we cover just McHenry County. Yeah. And what's really great about this is that we are able to be embedded in every community we serve. So there's someone else taking care of Lake County and Kane County, and DuPage and all that. Myself and my team, we only have to focus on McHenry County so that we can really be involved in the community and hear what these needs are.
It's a big county too.
It is. Yeah. We're the 6th biggest county in Illinois.
Yeah. And so what is it? Why this? Why your passion for this? What started it all?
Well, for me, I'm the regional council manager, and then I have Chris, who's the family and community engagement specialist. We do have Michelle Pineda. She is our administrative assistant. And I have been in the early childhood field since I graduated high school. So I worked.
So a couple of years.
Yeah, just a couple. I worked in a center for over 18 years. I was an assistant teacher, a teacher, assistant director, a director. And then I went on to the Child Care Resource and Referral Agency, and I started helping families find not just child care, but quality child care. What are those indicators? And I was very lucky that I was able to help people either start up their family childcare in their home or a center. And then I moved on to Birth to 5 Illinois, and with this, I'm able to help a lot of people and advocate for the needs, which this is just part of who I am. So I love it. And then Chris has a little bit of a different story.
Yeah. So I've been working in nonprofit and government type agencies for over 20 years now. I started off actually with working with senior citizens and then kind of flipped. I was a case manager for 16 years at the health department. I worked in early intervention as a service coordinator. And I also worked for the Autism Resource Center as a family educator, and have a passion for this, for the youngers, for the littles, because my son his birthday's today, actually. He's 20 years old today.
Happy birthday.
My youngest son, he is on the spectrum. And so not only have I lived with this for 20 years with him, but I also have worked in this field as well. And so just going through some of the experiences that I went through with my son, I wanted to help other families and parents and caregivers with if they have children on the spectrum or any disability or, just any child, really.
Yeah. So as you say, and help. So my kids are old now, right? My youngest is a junior in high school, right? So when you say strengthening early childhood education, help me understand what that means.
Yeah. So our goal and mission really is to make sure that every child, before they hit kindergarten, no matter who they are, we don't care how much money their family makes. Sure. We don't care about, religion, skin color, what language they speak. Right. They need to have access to whatever type of service they need. And like I said, that includes early childhood services or even maybe mental and behavioral health services. So we're really charged with that. But what makes us different than other advocacy agencies is we bring in the family voice. So we make sure that not only are we listening to these agencies that work with the families and of course the child care providers that care for them, but we're talking to the families directly. And that's really what Chris's job is, because she's the family and community engagement specialist. We want to make sure that their voice is uplifted to the decision makers in Springfield. So I do go and speak with the senators and the representatives who cover McHenry County to let them know, hey, this is what the people of McHenry County are saying. And this is what we're starting to work on to help, move that along. But we're kind of hoping, in their mind that they're ensuring that money that comes through for early childhood education and care gets spent the correct way in each part of Illinois, because we're vastly different than Chicago and Southern Illinois. That's why we only cover our area and don't have to, really worry about the other parts of Illinois. We'll let the other teams handle that.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty intense and pretty neat. And so over the years that you've both been doing this and involved in this, what do you think is the biggest change and or the biggest need now for early childhood?
You can speak about families. I would say one of the things is child care providers. I'm a big advocate for them. They are the workforce behind the workforce. And without child care providers, even if you don't have little kids, families can't work. And then businesses suffer and the economy suffers. So I would say they are struggling because children are coming with more and more either delays or some behavior issues. And although these teachers are well trained, they're not babysitters. They have their college degrees,
smooth coffee.
And then they work extremely hard, but they don't have the support and resources that the public schools have.
Right.
So they're saying, hey, we need help too. Can you help us?
Yeah.
And then, and Chris, if you want to talk about what families say.
I'm going to try not to call.
Oh.
So families, some of the challenges with the families that they're facing are finding resources, enough resources to help whatever is going on with their families. That could be mental and behavioral health resources. It could be early intervention resources, just help in general, like therapy.
Yeah. And a lot of, families don't know what families don't know. So they go to the neighbor, the aunt, the uncle, the grandma, the great grandma, whatever. Well, this is what you need. Right. And we really don't know. I remember as a young parent, I was 25 when I had a kid. I was a kid. I didn't, I really didn't know. So you lean on, and now the landscape has changed so much in society, in the world. Both parents are working 2 jobs. And you have to get daycare to get daycare, and then a lot of these daycare places are overpopulated. And are you getting the right early childhood development?
They're actually, the problem is they're short staffed. So they have a room closed. So that's the biggest issue.
Just short staffed.
Short staffed. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, I want to chime in a little bit here. So one of the big things, as well as I do as well, I have my youngest is diagnosed OCD, OCPD, and severe germophobia. As a parent, we didn't recognize that at the early age. She was just a pain in the neck. We were like, why? Just you're being stubborn, and so we were like, I think something's wrong. So we got her diagnosed pre-COVID. And then right after her diagnosis, COVID hit. All mental health facilities, it was like, you get on the waiting list for the next 5 years. So we had to learn how to learn. And we had to learn how to mourn our child's illness. and disability because it was new to us. We don't know what to do, right? On top of that, in the family side of things, how do you know now that you have a specialty that you have to deal with at the same time as go to work and know that the person that's going to watch your kid also deeming them dirty coming in and or bringing to a facility? There's so much involved, right? And yes, it trails all the way back to someone can't work, that affects the economy, and all the way to how do you get the growth of your child to pass that? And so at the earliest ages is when you do it, right? So it becomes a second nature to them and they can grow through it. So on the specialty side of things, I guess my question to you guys would be is on the specialty side of things, you have people that know how to handle or have the resources that know how to handle these types of situations, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It really depends on like the situation.
Sure.
But
Sure.
we do know, we work with a lot of different agencies in the county, and we're very well versed. We're very aware of what services they provide. And so we do some referrals.
Sure.
We're not case management or anything like that,
No,
where we would like,
but you're in
follow
it to
that,
help,
but
right?
yeah,
So you have a vetted network,
Yeah.
I'm sure, that you kind of go through and
correct.
stuff like that, which is I love what you guys are doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
And we also, one of the great things that we have is it's not just the three of us making a decision for the community. We have an action council that meets monthly. And these are people who either work in the early childhood field. So like we have, early intervention on there and home visiting and the WIC program. And we have different therapists and Home of the Sparrow. I mean, we have many different voices. And we meet monthly and we talk about, hey, this is what we're hearing. They're saying this is what we're hearing. And we actually have a action plan. So
Awesome.
wow.
So this
That's
action
fantastic.
plan, and I will get to Chris to talk about because we have a family council too, but we wrote year one. We're in year 4 of our work. So year 1, we wrote an early childhood regional needs assessment that's just for McHenry County. These are all over. So if you don't live in McHenry County, look up birth25il.com and you can search any of them.
Yeah, your area.
But based on what we heard, so it was boots on the ground year 1. I mean, we were talking to families and agencies, and we had surveys out there, and we were holding one-on-one interviews, and we were holding focus groups, and to hear what's going on. And we want to talk to people who, maybe are with Home of the Sparrow and not an ideal living situation, or maybe they, bring home $1 million a year. We don't care. You have a child that's, 0 to 5. We want to make sure they have what they need. So based on the early childhood regional needs assessment, we wrote the action plan and we took some recommendations and started making SMART goals. How can we start working on what these families say their children need? So we work with our action council and we work with our family council, if you want to explain a little bit.
Right. So family council, same as Nicole's council, we meet once a month virtually. We have 18 family parent caregivers on that council, representing pretty much all the cities in McHenry County. So for example, like Harvard is going to be a little bit different from Algonquin.
Sure.
As
As is Hebron. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, population, resources, income, so there's different perspectives that we're getting from all the different cities in the county. And so, we meet once a month and we gather feedback from them. We discuss whatever project we're working on at the time, mental and behavioral health, their experiences that they've had with their littles, if they've had to use those services and if they've had challenges. And we also get them involved in the community, or we're starting to get them involved in the community more at events. We're going to be having them come with us and sit at our table and be
that's awesome.
advocates.
Yeah.
And they can do other things too. There's other opportunities that they have.
Now the action plan and the assessment, can that be found on your website?
Yep.
So
Yeah. So ours is birth25il.com. /region 44.
Yeah. So I think the QR code right above me here
Got to bring you right there.
should take you right there. So if you scan that QR code, it'll take you right there.
Yes.
And you can see it. Which is
And
great.
we actually, we have one more report on there because these early childhood regional needs assessments got sent in to the state. They get looked at and then they are for public to use. But every single region wrote about mental and behavioral health needs. So the state came back to us and said, you guys need to do a deeper dive into mental and behavioral health for these kids because it's mentioned in every report. So then we wrote a smaller regional needs assessment based on mental and behavioral health. And this year, we just started, we are actually updating our early childhood regional needs assessment just because we published it in July of 23. So we worked on it, for 22, 23. And we want to know if there's been any major changes that we need to let the state know about.
And there is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
For sure.
And there definitely is. So how do families get involved then? So and do you want a guy whose youngest of 4 is 16, or are you looking for families with littles? You know what I'm saying?
Well, so for like family council, you have to be a parent or caregiver of a child 8 and under.
8 and under. Okay.
Yeah. And so I think it's like usually springtime, we open it up where they can submit an interest form that they're interested in joining the council. And throughout the summer is when that's like our main time that we're recruiting. We're doing events and we're going out, we're talking to families and parents to get them involved, get them excited to be involved with us.
Right.
And so then usually about September is the members are selected. We can't have more than on my council 18.
Sure.
So, there might be some that may not make it, but that's
Right.
okay because we can maybe try and get them on the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how they get on, and then we start our meetings and we get to know each other and get involved in the
And
community.
even if you're not on, well, for one, once you join our Action or Family Council, you're not going to be on forever because we want to have different voices. So you sign but you say you'll be on for a 1 to 2 year commitment, and then with the possibility of year 3. But after that, we move you into, if you want to, our alumni group where we meet quarterly and keep you updated because we don't want to say like, thanks for your hard work. Adios.
See ya.
So we meet quarterly to keep you updated through our alumni group. But and we want to have parent voice. She says she can only have 18. That's because 2 family members are allowed to be on the Action Council.
Oh, okay.
Because even when we're talking with these agencies, we want to keep family voice centered. They are the ones who are caring for these children and know their children the best. So yes, we want to hear, what the majority of parents are saying. So we want to talk with the agencies and childcare providers, but we want to hear directly from the parents.
And another way that they can provide their voice is we have what's called family stories on our website, where they can just write about their experiences that they've had, challenges, successes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then that's published on our website.
So over the years, what's a success story or one that just kind of sticks with you that you're like, man, and when you're having a bad day, you go back and go, now this little is no longer necessarily little.
We created.
I tell you what, she's got document.
So we created our action plan progress flyer.
Wow.
So it actually talks in here about, one of the things we want to raise the importance on early childhood education. Parents said they didn't know where to go. Yeah. So it talked about we created with our Action and Family Council pamphlets that talks about Head Start, the Child Care Resource and Referral Agency, early intervention, home visiting. And we have handed out over 1,500 copies around the county. And we've actually now made more because people are asking for more. We bring them to events and they're taking them. So we need to have these. We also have, there's a website, we don't have it, but one of our former Action Council members and now our Family Council, a member or 2 is taking over, but there's a website out there called Northern Illinois Parents where parents can go and find resources in McHenry County. And they do, you can click on a box to say you're looking for mental health providers or you're looking for early intervention or childcare, but they have all different stuff. They have
Sure.
pumpkin patches on there and, different things
Right,
for
fantastic,
McHenry County that little kids would be a part of.
Yeah.
And then another thing is we have surveyed because we heard from early childhood providers, like I said, they're struggling. So we created a survey so we could pinpoint, okay, tell me exactly what you're struggling with and how we can help. And over the summer and in the spring, I visited all the license programs and the home programs and talked one-on-one with them, gave them the survey, and they've been filling it out. So now we are finishing up, what we can do in order to help these providers so that they can care for, these children the best that they can.
Yeah. And so as you're doing this, I mean, the families that get involved, the people that just have to fall in love with what you're all doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's work. And at times I'm sure it's frustrating, right? But the successes that come out of it have to be just so cool.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, when you hear, you talk with all types of families.
Yeah.
So when sometimes you feel dragged down because you're hearing like the sadness or the frustrations. And, sometimes there's not a lot we can do besides raise their voice up and advocate.
Right.
So sometimes, you're just kind of like, I feel frustrated, but then you really got to focus on, okay, but this is what we are doing. This is what we have been doing. This is what people are saying about us.
Yeah.
You try to focus on the good.
We've had feedback from our family council that they really appreciate the platform to be able to speak about their experiences. And there is a part of our meeting that we have it's at the end of the meeting where we call it like support, a support time where everyone can just chime in if they're comfortable with it and talk about maybe something they're dealing with, and they get like feedback and input from the other parents.
So I've got 4 kids, and there's 15 years between the first and the last, right? And then there's the first 2 are 2 years apart, and then there's a 6-year gap that and then there's so the 2 older ones are always like, oh, you guys are so easy on the younger 2, right? And I always tell them, I'm like, I was a kid. I know you don't. There's not a manual on how to be a parent and what you need to do for your kids.
Yep.
And it's trial and error. And had I known something, my wife and I known something like this existed, wow. You know what I'm saying? It's just what a difference, because we were like throwing darts in the dark with the first 2. And then you kind of learn, and then you learn that there are some places, and that's called wisdom, right? That then all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is how we can move better for our kids through it. But a lot of times nobody knows that birth to 5 Illinois region 44 exists. And I love that we're able to get it out and get people to you, because there are so many needs. I mean, growing up back in the 1900s, right? Nobody had allergies. Right? There wasn't a need for to go, oh, I can't send that peanut butter sandwich to school.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there's so much in today's world that young parents, and when I say young parents with young kids, just may not have an idea.
This will be exciting not for you personally, because your children are older, but Chris and other family and community engagement specialists around Illinois are going to be starting what's called parent cafes. And if you want to explain a little bit about that.
So our first parent cafe will be in April. It's April 8th. It's open to the public. And it's like a forum where parents and caregivers can come together. And we focus on a specific topic.
Sure.
And we do breakout rooms where parents can talk, like have mini discussions about this particular topic. And then we come back outside of the breakout rooms. We come back to the main audience, and we discuss, how that was, how that felt. So it's a nice way to support parents, and to let them know that they're not alone. It's always good to share your successes and challenges both, just to give other people hope, that there are things that can be done to help your family and your kids.
See,
So.
yeah, and that's cool. Get a cup of coffee, hang out.
Yep. And that's
learn.
open to anyone in the community. So like I said, we're starting it for McHenry County, but it's going to be starting all over Illinois. So find yours, email them, ask when theirs are starting, and get involved.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough now to be a grandpa. So my grandson is, he's just a year old. And I get to hang out with him at times, which is fun. And watch him for the day, but he's also, he's an amputee. So he doesn't, so there's special needs there. And again, I'm going to pass this information on to my daughter and son-in-law, because again, it's kind of shooting in the dark, with what's out there and how to go. Now, she's a clinical psychologist, he's a doctor, so but I don't know that they're aware of of birth to 5, which is important.
Well, and sometimes too, you need that outside looking in. If you're the parent and your focus is in one direction, where when you get other brains on it, they're like, hey, how about this? Or, and it gives you the ideas, right? I love that. I love that, to where more than one person, as a parent, you're protective of your child, no matter how you, or you should be, I should say. I was the South Side kid that was raised by a neighborhood. I might as well have been raised by wolves. But and I love the peanut allergy thing. We didn't have allergies. We also had there was one medicine to everything. It was called Suck It Up Buttercup.
I say that a lot.
Suffering's an education.
You're a chrome and a band.
Right. But when you get a community involved, and that's what you guys have created, the new village, you get a community involved of a great network, and it just makes, I don't want to say it makes life easier, but it puts you in the right direction. Right.
Well, it makes you community is huge, right? And
Correct.
It takes a village, and then you get into what you all do and that advocacy for it, and then you start seeing that you're not on an island.
Right.
I mean, I think that's
Not
the
alone.
real neat thing about what y'all do is, how many times, when I was 25, were we up pulling our hair out at 2 a.m. because the baby wouldn't stop crying,
Right.
and now we got to go to work, and
If you look at our haircuts closely,
right.
that's
There's that. And the constant question as a new parent, as an old parent, is, am I doing the right thing?
And that's where home visiting would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. And home visiting is open to those parents prenatal all the way to up to age 3.
Okay.
And they come in your home and just kind of give that advice and talk with you.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's judgment free. There's no stupid question. And they really work with the families. And we have different ones throughout the county. And McHenry County is very special because not only do we have them embedded in a few towns through the school district, but we also have Helping Us Grow, which is out of Options and Advocacy here in Crystal Lake, that covers every part of the county that doesn't have a school district that covers it. So that, and and that's not common. So we are very lucky to have that.
Yeah.
They provide parent education and like developmental education, developmental screenings.
Yeah.
And they're also going to be collaborating with us on our first parent cafe.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, how receptive has your voice been downstate, I guess? Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah.
Is because the world spins at a fast rate and there's so much other garbage in the world.
Yeah.
How receptive and aware are elected officials?
For the most part, I would say they're very receptive.
Yeah.
I went to a thing just this week, and Senator Wilcox was there, Representative
my
Tom
buddy.
Weber. Yeah. So Wilcox immediately came up to me and said, "Hey, Nicole, tell me what's going on. What's happening?" So, I mean, he immediately sought me out and wanted to hear an update on what's happening with Birth to Five Illinois in McHenry County.
I mean, because it's never a headline in the news, right? It's like, this is what they're talking about today. It's always negative Nelly, but, so that's why I asked is, I'm sure they're moving a lot of things in the right direction, but that's why I wanted to know, just, and Craig's a personal friend of mine. So
Craig's great. And I love the fact that people are asking you, like, how do I support you?
Yep.
That's great.
And because, we do. We get asked that a lot. I mean, we do not take any, we're a nonprofit, we're grant funded, but we don't take any money in. And we've had people come up and hear about what we do. And they're like, "Oh my gosh." And they're pulling out their wallet. And we're like,
right. You just haven't put 216 creative. We're a nonprofit, not by choice.
Right.
But that's wonderful. And I love that they, your voice in that advocacy is being heard, because there are a lot of other advocacies that aren't heard, and it's so true about what they say. This is our future. This is what America's going to hedge on, is our kids.
Well, and those formative years of the brain.
Yeah.
So imagine if every child, before they even go to kindergarten, had what they needed, how they'll succeed in school, and those teenage years that are rougher. And then as an adult in our, in the world,
50-year-old,
yeah. But
That's true.
if they had what they needed during those years when their brain, 90% of it is formed.
Yeah.
I mean,
so, and that's the really neat thing now with my grandson, is there's there's no screen time, right? Whatever mom and dad do is fun, but we'll play with balls, blocks, cars, rooms, all that good
Chris
stuff.
is a grandma. She does the same thing.
It is.
I have an almost 1-year-old grandson.
Awesome.
And
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Thanks. I babysit him every other Saturday, and it takes me usually about a full day to recover because he's now mobile and very fast.
Yes.
And I am chasing him. And so, I hear you. I feel your pain.
I never knew the floor was so far down there.
Once you're down, it's really hard to get back
Hold
up.
on, buddy.
And the thing is, he knows that.
Yes.
And he uses it to his advantage,
right.
and he just will take off because he knows Grandma can't get up off the floor very quick.
So for everybody listening, what are just some ideas that they can do besides getting in touch with Birth to Five, Illinois Region 44? To make sure that they are giving their kids the best advantage in the early. Yeah. Any tips?
I would say finding those resources. If you really feel something is wrong with your child, or something's just not right, or and the
you're a little unsure.
right? And the pediatrician is like, "Don't worry about it," but you just really feel, go with your gut. You are the parent. So take it beyond that and start looking for those resources and get those free evaluations. It won't hurt to get an evaluation for free.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you're a bad parent. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with your kid. It just means do it. Yeah. I think on the 31st, I want to say
People in need.
The people in need over at McHenry County College. Pretty much a smorgasbord of every in McHenry County, right?
Yep. And I will be there. Chris is actually working a different event that day.
Working a preschool fair.
Yeah, but I will be there with the administrative assistant, Michelle, and I'm actually on the People in Need committee. So I joined to make sure that we were giving voice to those families 0 to 5 and saying,
fantastic,
this is what we're hearing. So one of the things that's actually one of the breakout sessions that they're doing this year are grandparents raising grandchildren, because that's a need we've been hearing about a lot. And we're not talking about babysitting.
No.
We're talking about the parent is actually not around and the grandparents are raising them. And those grandparents want support. So when I started talking to different people, Chris is talking, to senior services and the home visiting program and everything. And we've really been mentioning that around the community. And it's not just 0 to 5. When I was talking to another agency that works with teenagers, she was like, oh my gosh, we've actually thought about starting a support group because we have so many teens that are being raised by grandparents.
Yes.
So having that voice heard and being like, we've never, they said we've never done a breakout session before geared toward that, but this might be the year to do it. And we were able to. So
yeah, and you love your grandkids, and I do know some grandparents who are in that position as well. I mean, and right when you thought you were going to be able to vacation to Italy and enjoy the retired life, all of a sudden I've got a 5-year-old.
Yeah, we wouldn't change it for the world anyway. I mean, listen, and I want to circle back a little bit. You mentioned, pediatrician, what your doctor says. Certain doctors, they step outside the box a little bit and they say, hey, listen, go talk to these people or whatever. But a lot of times when you're depending on just your doctor, they're herding cattle. And when you come to a group like yours that doesn't herd cattle, you're in it to win it. You're in it to make the difference. Not to say that people's doctors would be wrong all the time, but it never hurts to go get that outside support or help, or even if you're just curious, if you have a youngin', if you're a grandparent and you're raising a grandkid, if you're a young parent, if you're a middle-aged parent, if you're a parent, period. Like Deke said, there's no handbook for that. It's like, hey, let's throw this at the wall, whatever sticks, we're going to run with it. But at least you're around other like-minded people that have maybe gone through it and or are about to go through it. There's a lot of support, not just with you guys, but the other people that are coming to you as well that might have the tips and tricks that make that difference. So it's really important. Folks, that QR code up on the screen there, go ahead and use the old pocket computer and scan that. And we're going to go ahead and put that up here. Right? Boom, like that. Scan it. And if you don't have the pocket computer, I don't know what rock you live under, but you can do that as well. I think there's a lot that goes on here. So I would love to do a follow-up with you guys here into the future and see where we're at as well.
So do y'all homeschooling now is becoming a really big thing too? Do you work with families and have avenues to help them with that?
Yeah, I'm just thinking offhand here. I do have a council member that is homeschooling her children, and as you said, it is becoming more popular. Actually, I have experience with that myself with my younger son. We ended up homeschooling him. He had a difficult time in school. And so that really changed his style of learning. It really helped improve his mental health.
That's great.
So we don't really, we can look into it further for resources. I know that there's there's like a co-op, a homeschool co-op. I know that they have them like on Facebook, groups that you can join. But we would definitely look into more resources for them if we were asked.
Yeah. Awesome. That is great. So, as we kind of wrap this episode of Let's Talk Local up, why does this matter locally here in McHenry County?
Well, one, like I said, the children's, their brains forming 90% in those 0 to 3 years. So helping the children get what they need obviously will help them into school and adult life. But also from the business and economy perspective, because if parents can't work, it's those businesses that are affected and it's the economy that's affected. I am in different networking groups where I am constantly promoting how important early childhood education is. And one person said, yeah, I work with seniors, but this is an issue for me because I have people who call off because they don't have childcare, or I'll hire them and then they realize they can't find childcare, so they can't start. So she's like, this even affects me, and I have no young children and I work with seniors. So
isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That how the dominoes kind of all fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So any last parting words as we wrap this up? Cappuccino, you got anything? You good?
I'm ecstatic about the fact that this exists.
Yeah.
Period. And as I learned through McHenry County, period, of all the different styles of groups and organizations that are here to lift things up to shape the world, not just locally, because it obviously region 44, there's other regions, right? So we're gonna make wash rinse repeat in other places, right? So everybody gets a shot. I love the fact that we can help gain that awareness here with the studio to put you out there. Other than that, I'm excited on the follow-up to see how we're doing, and I would be absolutely happy to send people your way that need it.
And we do, if you go on our website that you've been promoting, we do have a bi-monthly newsletter. So it just comes out every other month. It's not very long, but it tells you what we've been doing, where we're going to be for events, awesome. What's happening.
That's cool.
Keeps you updated.
And our Facebook
page too, correct?
Yeah. And we list monthly, we list what events we'll be at and other events that are happening in the county.
Nice. That's Birth to 5 Illinois, Region 44 or something like that on Facebook.
Yeah. It's
go to the website.
Yeah.
Go to the website.
It leads you everywhere. I'm looking at it now. It just leads you everywhere to everything you absolutely need. Well done website, by the way.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, from everything from doing the show, Deke, keeping families covered. I mean, there's kids in need. I mean, it's just amazing. The people here are amazing. And like I said, we absolutely, that's why we made this show. We absolutely want to help put it out there so people can see it. You want to know what's going on locally? Check us out on YouTube, 216 Creator Studios. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ding that bell for future notifications. We always appreciate the support. Unless you ladies have something else that you want to say, we'll go ahead.
Thank you.
Come back anytime.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Take care, folks. Until next time.
Every story's worth a little bliss. From the heart of the town to the open air. Let's talk local, we're taking you there. 216 Creator Studios, where the magic starts. Local businesses, their real work of arts. From the cafes to the shops.